Hello, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Sharon Rogers and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine in the United States. And this is Tune In Tuesday. Now, for those of you who have been following me for a while, a couple years maybe, you've known that every second and fourth Tuesday I bring you Tune In Tuesday, where it's a free online class. And if you want the class kit that goes with the projects that I made so that you can recreate them on your own, then all you had to do was place an order of $35 or more in my online store, and I would mail you that class kit for free. If your order was higher, say $50, sometimes $60, depending on what it was, I would also send you not only the kit, but I would send you the a package of embellishments or a spool of ribbon or something. Well, I've got some changes ahead, and we're starting tonight. Well, tonight's a transition night. We're going to have a new catalog online launch party. Just a couple days ago, I held an in-person launch party. Everyone that came was able to look at some of the fantastic new product. There's nothing like touching it and looking at some samples that were made. And everyone created 2 cards made with brand new product. I'm going to create those 2 projects with you tonight. But other than that, we're just going to go through some of the highlights of this fantastic new catalog, which I can now show you the inside of. I couldn't do that before because of Stampin' Up! Policy. But now that this is live, I can do that. And I'm going to show you some of the very great features of this new catalog. Let's get started. I'm going to start just by showing you some of the main features of this new catalog because it is quite different than our catalogs of the past. This sort of returns to, I think, the days when Stampin' Up! Called their catalog an idea book. I think it's got lots of great ideas. It's got lots of helpful information inside its pages. And it's much more friendly for people in various stages of their stamping life. So if you're a beginner, you're going to pay attention probably to pages 4 through 11, the step-by-step crafting. This is the kits, whether it's Paper Pumpkin or the online exclusives or the kits collections from the online store. Everything that you need to create is in a little box and it comes right to you, including instructions. And then if you're somewhat of a new stamper, you might not have a lot of the stuff, you might not have all the stuff. Quick and easy options is great for you. And then if you've been stamping for any length of time, you're probably going to fall into this category and want to look at the creativity your way, which is pages 30 to 91. Another great improvement in this catalog is the index. It's much more comprehensive. You will find some changes and some challenges with this catalog, but I'll talk about those a little bit later. You pay attention to some of the icons where you see a QR code, which let me point out a small one that I might see here somewhere. Of course, now I can't find one now that I'm looking for one. Let's see. I know where there's a really big one. Let's see here. Come on. Okay, so this is a QR code, and if you hover your phone over it, you will see, like in my phone, it's like a yellow link. And if I click on that, it takes me to a web page. And this one says it will take you to the Stampin' Up! Pinterest page for more ideas using these products. This one back here takes you to the online store. Now, it doesn't take you to my online store. It takes you to the generic Stampin' Up! Store. So my suggestion would be if you scan a QR code in here and plan to do any shopping, make sure you know who you're shopping with. And I would love it if you'd shop with me. So just type in my name under the Find a Demonstrator section and you'll see me pop up and then just click there. But remember, I also have different host code links at times, and so pay attention to my emails, and they'll have links in there as well to take you directly where you need to go. And if you're not subscribing to my emails yet, go ahead and there should be a subscription in the description of this video. So you can subscribe to my emails that way. And then some of the sets come in more than one language, and this will point you to the online store, this little shopping bag. So again, they organized it from very, very basic, the Kits collection, showing you, you can have fun with friends. Comes right in a box. Take a box over to a friend's house and create together. Some of them are the Kits collections. You can scan that code to get a gander at all the kits that we have. We add 2 new kits every single month. And for instance, this one was really popular, this cat and dog one. It is so adorable. It sold out last month and it's currently unavailable, but hopefully it'll be back. It will be back soon. Very, very popular. But there are some other ones too. One of my team members got this set and she loved it. She thought it was really great because there's some foil features and then these honeycomb 3D aspects. Really, really nice. But there's also, if you like a surprise, there's Paper Pumpkin, the surprise that comes to your door every month. And it's got everything you need, just like the Kits collections, except for it's a surprise. But I'm telling you, they've knocked it out of the park the last couple of years. The Paper Pumpkins have been fantastic. And then once you move past, I don't have anything, so I'll just get everything I need in a little box, to, okay, I'm ready to, dip my toes in a little bit deeper, maybe go up to my ankles in this Stampin' world. Pay attention to this page. These are some of the basics that you need. Scissors. This glue adhesive, that's my favorite adhesive. There are lots of adhesives you can get. I like this one the best because it gives me a little wiggle time so that I can get things positioned exactly right. Dimensionals, adding some 3D dimension really makes a difference in your projects. So for instance, here's a little, when I had a little cow class at my retreat, this is a little treat holder we did, and his head is popped up off his body. So it just gives a little bit more whimsical look there, but it doesn't have to be whimsical because you could just take a card and you're popping up the sentiment. It just makes it jump off the page a little bit more. When you're new to stamping, you probably don't have a lot of inks, but these spots assortments, you get 8 spots and all these colors cover most anything you would need for a color. So that's a really great value. You do need a clear block, and they're recommending block D and E. This is D, E is bigger, but D fits a lot of stamps. And in fact, that's the size that comes in your Kits collection box. So every Kits collection comes with a D block. It's a little bit different. So the one that comes in the Kits, they're thinner. Can you see the difference here? And it's a straight edge. This one's a little bit more contoured. It's much more comfortable. If you're going to be getting into stamping, this is the way to do it. It's this block, not the Kits blocks. But these do come in all the kits, and it's a really great size. A basic stamp set, like this Saying Hey stamp set. $17, great value. It's got lots of very basic greetings that will cover most of what you need. Modern Oval Punch makes a great label punch, or here's another one, the Hexagon Punch, but it's just a great way to add a sentiment. Your blank canvas, basic white note cards and envelopes. This is probably one of the best values in the catalog. For $10, you get 20 cards with 20 envelopes. All you need to do is decorate them with stamps or paper or both. And then you need to clean your stamps. So the chamois is a really great deal. All you need to do is wet this with water and you rub it right on the chamois, and the ink comes off, stays on the chamois, and your stamps are clean. And then of course me, not Natalie, that's Natalie. She works for Stampin' Up. But me, I'm one of your crafting essentials too. I am happy to help you whenever I can to show you maybe what you don't know or what might make things a little bit easier for you, or just to help you in any way that I can. And so when you're starting out, this ephemera stuff, ephemera just are some things that you can add. They're already done. So these are sayings, and let's get a little bit of everything. That's called something for everything. So there's a puppy dog in here, and there's a fish, and there's a sailboat, and there's ice cream. There's also, and plants. So there's lots of things in here. Fully flowering ephemera pack, lots of flowers, lots of different kinds of flowers, different kinds of colors, leaves as well. And then there's the labels and layers ephemera pack. So we got to play with these a lot at a recent Stampin' Up! Event, and we just were at a table and we all just mixed and matched with these cards and envelopes. Now the cards and envelopes are not a super great value at $8 for 5 cards and 5 envelopes. That's fairly pricey, but if you don't have anything, it's actually cheaper to be able to, or less expensive, to be able to get these things that are already decorated and just start building from there. Again, quick and easy as you're building. And here's another great stamp set, the Simply Said stamp set. It's got lots of, birthday, thanks, hello, let's celebrate, miss you, thank you, thinking of you. So this would cover almost every kind of occasion for card giving that you would need. And then another great thing about this catalog, lots and lots and lots of examples. These cards were all made from items on this page. Look at all the different looks that you have. Really, really pretty. Gives you great ideas for layouts. Awesome. And then another thing great for beginners, you don't know how to put cards together? Basic card design. And here are 22 different card layouts. So for instance, this card right here is this layout right here. Now it doesn't have the twine or the ribbon wrapped around it, but it's that same basic layout. So these are the ideas, and you can adjust them to fit what you have. Here's, I can show you some other ones as well. So you see some more. Now, when you see a little icon next to this, that means that this was one of the card sketches. So this particular card comes from this card sketch right here. So it's 2 images and a sentiment on another layer, 2 images and a sentiment on a smaller layer. Okay, so when you pay attention to those, and you'll see the variations of these particular card designs. They are throughout the catalog. We're getting ready to stamp here in just a minute. Just a few more things to show you before we take a break and stamp. These Memories and More card packs, not quite as much as in the ones that were in previous catalogs, but really beautiful, great way to get a good start on a card, because they have sentiments and images, beautiful imagery on them already. And then you can see there are some more other basic essentials that you can use here. Designer series paper. I'm really drawn to this poised peony set for some reason. Not exactly sure why, because I'm not a flower person, but all right. And then there's the creativity away. Before we get to this section, which is where most seasoned stampers end up, let's go ahead and make a card. One of the cards we made at my new catalog kickoff, the in-person one on Saturday, featured some of the new in-color products. Here is Peach Pie, which reminds me of orange sherbet. So I had a couple of different layers, and this is Petunia Pop, which is a purpley pink, really pretty color. And this is the Peach Pie ribbon. This ribbon, this new in color ribbon that is a, I think they call it a bordered ribbon because it's got some stitching on the edges. This is very thin ribbon, but it's substantial. It's not sheer, but it's thin, lays nice and flat, ties great bows, really great ribbon. And I know it's hard to tell sometimes in the catalog, so that's why I wanted to make sure I told you that. Now I'm going to bring in one of the new stamp sets. This is a new bundle. This is Spotlight on Nature, and it's got these images on it. It does get bundled, and I will show you it later because right now I'm not sure if I can find it. I'm looking to see if I can find it. Oh, I did find it. It is bundled with something that doesn't go with this at all. This is a set of 12 circle dies, and there are all sorts of different patterns, and they nest together. So I do have an example. I did a swap with someone, and someone had these 3 different circles on there. What a pretty card, right? Very, very pretty. Just using these circles. But this was a bundle. These are bundled together, so that means that if you purchase the stamp set and the dies, you will save 10% on both when you buy them as a bundle using the bundled number. But let's just go ahead and stamp as though they were just separate right now, because I'm not really going to even use the circle for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and bring in this particular stamp, the flower and leaves. I'm going to take that smaller piece of peach pie, and I need to get out my peach pie ink. So I'm going to be using the tone on tone stamping technique. I'm not going to color it at all. I'm just going to stamp this right on here. And different heights. In fact, maybe I'll do this. And maybe I'll do this. Something like that. Okay. And then in here, there's also a butterfly. And I'm not coloring, but you could certainly color. And let me just go ahead and put my butterfly over there. How about that? And before I close this up, I should wash those stamps, but I'm not going to wash them at the moment, because you don't need to see me do that. I'm going to bring in the leaf stamp from that same set. I'm going to add some texture and interest to my card base just around the edges. Just stamping around the edges. I don't care about the center at all because I'm going to be covering it up. This tone on tone can also be achieved with Versamark, although a lot of times the Versamark will not show it as dark as the ink itself. Kind of depends on the color. Now, I'm going to bring in a piece of this Petunia Pop. And let's see, get my glue flowing here. I'm almost out, I think. All right, well, let's... Sometimes I just let it sit around without capping it, and it gets all yucky. Here we go. All right. All right, so we've got that layered on there. I'm going to take my ribbon. Here's a rule of thumb: when you're tying a knot around a card, or instead of a bow, you're going to tie a knot 3 times the length. So 1, two, I've got 3 lengths there. That's the right size. And I think we'll put it right here. And come on, where's the end? No, that didn't turn out nicely. Hold on, I gotta do this again. Let me show you, by the way, how I tie my knots when I'm not rushing on camera. Okay. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go left, over right, and through. Put my finger there, hold this one, feed the other one over the top and through the hole, and then just pull gently, and you get a nice looking knot there, and your ends lay nicely as well. Sometimes that particular knot takes a little bit of time to master. No joke, I had a friend who worked for a card company, and one of her jobs was to tie bows. And so that's the bow that she tied, because I was like, how do you get your bows so nice and flat? And then she told me. And she showed me how to do it, and I could not do it to save my life. And I don't know what I was doing, but I picked it up another couple weeks later, and then all of a sudden I could do it. I have no explanation what made the difference. I'd like to think I can follow directions pretty well, but for some reason that first time I just wasn't getting it. All right, so I've got some dimensionals here. You know what? I'm going to add another one right in the center. All right. I'm going to just put that right on here. Now I've got a little piece of white here, and I'm going to bring in the word thanks that's in this set. It's a great set because you can just do this kind of stamping, so you don't have to have a lot of colors, or you can color it in with whatever coloring medium you want. You don't need a lot. You know what? I'm going to try the other side. You just stop talking so much when I'm stamping. Okay. Some people would tell you I need to stop a lot, period, but all right. So I've just angle cut that. Now this ribbon can move a little bit, and I'm going to be putting this over the top with dimensionals. I'm going to help secure that a little bit. You can put a little bit of glue underneath there. Ooh, this glue is, I think there's a bubble in it somewhere. You can put a little glue under there, or you can put a little glue dot under there. So the glue will just take a little bit of time to set up, but then it will be fine. And then you can take your dimensionals. I'm going to put that right over the top. Okay, again, that glue underneath is still setting up. A glue dot probably would work better for that. And then the only other thing I'm going to add are some of these in color shimmer gems. So the new in colors are Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, Pretty in Pink, which is an old color that's returning again, and Petunia Pop. I'm going to take some of these same color. You know what? The pink ones might look nice too. I mean, the Petunia Pop ones might look nice too. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring those in. There's 2 different sizes. Just take your pick tool and pick them up. Remember, you want to put them in an odd number. And I'm going to move this one down here, I think. Ah, it's stuck to me. All right, got a nice little triangle going. And that is my card. Now, because it's a light color, you can certainly, you don't need an inside layer. You can just stamp the inside, and that's light enough to write on, so you don't need to add a white layer, but of course you could if you wanted to. So that was one of the cards that we completed at my in-person new catalog launch. Here are some cards that I received in a swap that use that Spotlight on Nature bundle. This one is just using those dies. Really pretty. Look at how just mixing and matching those circles really makes for a very striking front of that card. And here we have the butterfly being used. This is a background stamp, but what I love about this butterfly is it is stamped on Pretty in Pink cardstock, and then this person added some Petunia Pop ink to this right-hand side, so it really, it just gives a pretty colored quality to that butterfly. This was my swap that I sent out, but I got one back because apparently there was a shortage of players, but featuring all the new in colors, and then I just stamped black over the top. This was one of the dies, and that's the thanks from the circle as well. So you don't have to color in. Even if it's a line art image, you don't have to color it in. And then here's one where it was colored in. Just look how pretty. Lots of pretty papers in the background, and then the two colored features on the front. This looks like a fun fold. Let's see. This was done by Michelle Barnes. Let's see if my intuition is correct that this is a fun fold. If I can get into the card. Oh, she's really got it stuck down. All right. Yep, it's a fun fold. So there we go. And to create this fun fold, this is a Joy Fold card. All Michelle did was cut off this piece of I think this is the new basic beige color. She cut it off and turned it and applied it right there. Easy peasy. Now, I mentioned that I was going to be starting something new with my Tune-In Tuesdays. So the fourth Tune-In Tuesday will remain as it's always been, an online class, and if you want the class kit to go with it, then you simply place an order in my online store. But on the second Tuesday of the month, I'm going to be doing Technique Tuesday, and that is going to be a club. So you will have to join the club in order to be able to see those videos. It's just something new I'm trying. I just need to make some adjustments that work a little bit better with my current situation here, and just trying something new. So it's going to be a technique club. We might focus on watercoloring. We might focus on a technique called kissing. I was talking to my team members tonight, and a long time ago I offered a technique class where we made a three-wing kind of book of techniques. And one of the classes that I did, I always showed 3 different techniques. One of my classes was the sex, drugs, and rock and roll class. And people laugh, but I mean, it gets your attention, right? So sex was the kissing technique, because kissing is sex, right? For little kids anyways. And the huffing technique was what I used for the drugs, because huffing can also mean that. And then with the rock and roll, there's a technique called rock and roll. So my sex, drugs, and rock and roll class was, it always got a lot of snickers, but people learn new techniques and they stuck. So I'm going to be doing a technique focused class, and that technique might focus more on product sometimes, and it might focus more on, something like watercoloring, where there's so many different ways you can watercolor. So I hope you will join me for those technique classes, those technique Tune-In Tuesdays, second Tuesday of the month, starting in June. All right, let's get back to our catalog fun. Ignore that sound of things dropping on my floor. So now we get to the Creativity Your Way section. And this is for the people that are full in on stamping, want to have all the things, or at least a good number of them. The first section are the suites. Suites have typically stamps and dies and embellishments and designer series paper. This one, the Mediterranean Blooms, really, really beautiful color palette, very summery, just beautiful. This paper alone is gorgeous. And you can see lots of different samples. You can see the color palette for the suite down here. And the samples range from pretty simple to a little bit more ornate and a lot more work. So you can see, and this is another one. I have some samples of the Take to Your Sky somewhere. Let me see if I can find them. So again, my swap netted me some good stuff. There are these samples, but look, then there are some here too. This is a pretty simple card. Just features some DSP and a sentiment. Here's one of these embellishments. Now, I'm going to be honest, this embellishment, I'm not a big fan of because it's got quite a thickness to it. So if you're going to mail this is going to be hard to mail without it puncturing the envelope. You'll definitely want to put something over it, and you might get a surcharge because of the thickness. Here's another one. The plane was stamped, and then just used some paper, and this is an embossing folder back here. And then this one uses the dies. So the clouds and these two plane images right here. So this one was done in Misty Moonlight, and this one was done in one of the grays, probably not Smoky Slate, probably Gray Granite, I'm guessing. And just put on over the top along with a propeller. Sorry, my accent's coming through. So fun cards made with this suite. There's a To Market suite. I don't like to shop. I don't like to cook. This one's not probably going to be for me. We've got Wildly Flowering, which has some really pretty basic kinds of label dies or just accents for the fronts of cards, and pretty paper. This one, full of life. Bright, cheery, friendly, gotta love it. A little bit more whimsical, Lily Pond Lane. Again, you got some embellishments, and you've got stamps, dies, paper. Thoughtful Journey. I love Thoughtful Journey. This paper alone is gorgeous. And in just a second, I'm going to show you the second project from my new catalog launch party that I had in person. But here you can see a card made with that paper in the background. Here's one that features the paper. Here's another one by Gwen Ike. I think that's how you pronounce it. And she made this is just a simple little bookmark made out of a piece of designer series paper. Punch a hole, thread some twine through. But isn't that pretty? I love these colors, and there are multiple seasons that this goes along with. So whether or not you like the stamps that go with it, these papers, this 6x6, must have, in my opinion. Then there's this Country Woods suite, and again, lots of great samples here. Let me see if I can find mine. So this is a huge suite. And you know it's a huge suite when there's nothing even on here except for that there's a suite collection. So wait, flip the page. You've got 2 bundles, 2 sets of designer series paper, an embossing folder, ribbon, which currently is on back order, and these beautiful smoky slate and basic gray pearls. Now, here are some cards that I got in my swap that feature those. Like, I just love these birdhouses. They're so cute. And I'm not really a big bird fan, but these are just adorable. And then we've got the other part, the country flowers part, that's got teapots and cans and window boxes. Actually, the window box comes from the other one. But just some really, really great cards. I was so pleased with this swap. Let's see. Unbounded Beauty, another big suite. 2 bundles. 1 set of designer series paper, 1 specialty paper. Look how shiny that is. And the dots, the in color dots. This Unbounded Love bundle, lots of great labels with some floral accents and lots of great, great sentiments here. Some of the sentiments: hope is believing in a brighter tomorrow. Peace, and that goes with, I think, makes the world a better place. Faith is being sure of what we cannot see. Love never gives up. And so the pink part here shows you that which ones they go with. If it fits, it can go with any of them, but they're just giving you an idea there. And so there's this paper, and I've got lots of samples using that paper. Oh, here's another one of that one that goes with the, it's not the Flower Market set, it's this set right here, Country Flowers. There's another one of those. But see this paper right here, all sorts of cards. Lots of people liked to use that one. Oops, that's upside down. So you can see lots of different bright cheery colors though. So it looks like Summer Splash and Petunia Pop is a nice combination. That might be Shy Shamrock. Hard to tell with them not next to each other. And then we get into just the regular bundles. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and show you the second project that I used in my new catalog in-person launch party. And it features this paper. All right, so I have the packet that I gave my attenders, and then they could select from one of the patterns in this Thoughtful Journeys DSP. And you can see that it's a watercolor kind of landscape. And on the other side, it's a watercolory kind of just more solid. I mean, some of them are solid, some of them are not. But just all sorts of different colors. You've got some that could go for fall and spring and summer. Oh, I like this one. Maybe I'll use this one. And then there's some that are a little bit more, I'd probably want to stamp on this to bring out a little bit more of the fact that this is maybe sky and water and land. This one looks a little bit more winterish to me, as does this one. This is one of my favorite patterns. And then we've just got some other patterns in here. Lots of really, really pretty papers. Some have more landscape features than others. I love this one too a lot. And let's see, I think we've seen that one before. So you can see that there are all sorts of different ones to choose from. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this one. And because I'm using this package that was left over from my new catalog piece. Now, what I want to pick is a paper, but I want to pick a portion of the design that I want featured. And I needed this to be 3.5 by 3.5. So I think I want some sky and I want some ground. So I probably want something like in here. I'm going to cut this at 3.5. And then, so if I cut this around 3.5 here, that would be like that. I want to go a little bit more. Just cut this up however I want to, until I get a 3.5 by 3.5 piece that I like. All right, I'm satisfied with that one. Now in my packet, there's a piece of Mossy Meadow. That's my card base. And there's a piece of Basic White, and that's going to be my inside layer. There's a coordinating piece of cardstock. In this case, it's Wild Wheat, which is one of last year's In Colors. And it coordinates with this piece in here. Otherwise, I would not be using it because this is not my favorite color. But in certain situations, I'm okay with it. And this is one. And then there's a little tag, and this is from the Unbounded Love dies. I've already got that punched out. Let's go ahead and, I need my paper trimmer. I'm going to cut this piece, and I want to make sure that I get my pieces to stay in order. I want a 1/2 inch piece, a 3/4 inch piece, and a 1 inch piece, and then the leftover piece is a 1 1/4 inch piece. So they're in order like that. Now what I'm gonna do is adhere this, and it's longer. It's longer than the piece that I'm putting it on. So I want to make sure I'm not putting glue all the way to the end. All right. And you might want to go ahead and just lay these down and make sure that you've got the spacing pretty good on it. I happen to know what I want the spacing to be, so that's about all the same right there. Whoop. And you want to make sure that you get your pieces in the right orientation. All right, and then one more. All right. Let's see if I can move this one over just a little bit. I think I can because the glue is still a little slippery. There we go. And I can move this one over still because the glue is still a little slippery. All right, so I've got that. I'm gonna bring in my card base. I'm gonna put this right up here. Well, let's put this up on dimensionals. All right. I'll center that. All right, I'm gonna bring in my Unbounded Love stamp set. So this has lots of really, really wonderful sayings. And let's go ahead and bring in that Celebrate, I think. See if we can find it. Nope. Let's bring in the You Are Loved because I can find that one. I can see it. That's the one we used, I think, at my... launch party because it covers a lot of different sentiments, or a lot of the different occasions, I should say. Bring in the Mossy Meadow ink pad to coordinate with the paper. There we go. And then what we're going to do is just add this. I think I'm going to add this right up to the top here. I'm going to have it hanging over a bit. And I did not add any bling to this. So I think this is something that might be used for, I mean, this could be used for a sympathy card. Ooh, a little too much glue there. All right, let me get the glue off here. A little too much glue. This could be a great sympathy card. It's just got calm colors on it. And I wouldn't want any bling if it was a sympathy card. Now for my card that goes in the center, or my piece that goes in the center, I can bring in those scraps again. And I can either cut that up in any way I want. I can use the other side. I think I'll use the other side. I'll just cut a piece that's maybe half an inch wide. We'll put this right across the bottom. Let me just put a thin line of glue right here. Trim those sides. Because this is a sympathy card, I could put in a sympathy saying. There is a with sympathy in here, but I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with this card yet, so I will leave off the inside sentiment for now and hope that when I add one later, it's straight. And that is the second card that we created. Oop, I don't think that's straight. That's got a lot of glue on it though, so I can straighten that out. Okay. And there we go. And now let's get back to this goodness that is before me. We have just come through the sweets, and now we're at the bundles section. So bundles are stamp sets and generally dies. This first one is a bundle of a stamp set, die, and decorative masks, sort of like the Enduring bundle, Enduring Beauty from last catalog. This is the Layers of Beauty bundle. So they all work together very nicely. Nice floral. Then we've got a couple other bundles that have punches or dies. So you have some choices here. Get the same image, whether it's a die or a punch. Sometimes punches are easier and quicker than getting your dies out, but in this particular case, you get 3 dies that you can, you know, with one pass of the machine, you get 3 of these labels as opposed to only 1 with a punch. Here, the advantage of a die over a punch is that the die is only $12, but the punch is $23. But again, a punch is faster. I typically lean towards punch, not die. So that's what I would say. Then you've got a bunch of other bundles. Now this Hearts and Hugs bundle, one of my favorites, absolutely one of my favorites. Let me show you some of the wonderful stuff that you can create with this particular bundle. So first of all, we've got this card. That takes a lot of time, but it's 5 die cuts. Well, 6 if you, I didn't die cut this. So it's 5 die cuts because these hearts all came from one pass of this particular die right here. It takes a lot of time to line them up. And then we've got just flowers and stems and greenery. This is from a swap. This is also from a swap, but I love the paper. And I just think that this guy is so, so cute. And that didn't take a lot of time to color because she just outlined him and gave him some blush on his cheeks and he was good to go. This was my swap. So this is die cut and it's showing you the red that's behind here. This was stamped on a gray cardstock and I just used some blends to kind of color them in a little bit. Flowers. This one I did on my Friday Night Live last week. And then we've got this little guy. All it's colored on him. I think that she added a little bit of color to his hands and feet and his nose. Cute, cute, cute. And then here are some more walruses as well. Adorable. So you'll see lots of bundles in here. This shopping cart one is kind of cool because you can cut out a shopping cart itself. And then, I mean, there's just a whole bunch of eclectic stuff. This was the Spotlight on Nature, things that I showed you before. Then there's some floral stuff going on here. And I think this one I had, let's see. So they used, this person used part of this die to create this. The little, see, there's a little bunny. She added a little bunny there. But pretty simple and really, really cute. What a great winter card that would be. This is going to be on my list because I love, love, love the sand dollars. And of course, I live in a beach community, so, you know, it only makes sense. Now, this section that's titled Encore, these are returning stamp sets and dies. They are no longer bundled together. They're just shown together. So the stamp set and the dies, they're separately priced. You don't get to save 10% by getting the bundle because you can't bundle them. There's no bundled number. They're not shown at full size, so as to save some space in this catalog and make it thinner, easier to mail, less expensive to produce. So then we just come to different sections, and there are all sorts of tips in here with what you're with the images. There's all sorts of hints and tips about what to do. In fact, there are some more layouts as well. More ideas, whether they are from the front or not, but look at all the different ideas that you have. Here's that big background stamp set. And they're showing you a few different ways to do it. You can ink it up to create partial background. You can do a full background. You can fussy cut some of the pieces of that image and pop some of them up to create something a little bit more interesting as well. This would make a great bookmark, by the way. It looks like the floating technique. And then we've got all the color. Got some ways to show appreciation. Some memory keeping stuff, which we will have more and more of pretty soon. Well, by the end of the year anyway. So there are just all sorts of different occasions in here. I'll show you some of my favorites. There's a metallics little section here, focus on them. All your ribbon is right on here, and you can see it on little packages or tags. All your embellishments are listed right here, and I love the pink background this year. It makes it so much easier to see. I had such a hard time finding adhesives in the last catalog. Loved this spread. I can find that one. And then they've got more instruction. 4 watercolor techniques. They're showing you 4 different techniques. This is going to be part of my Technique Tuesdays. Second Tuesday of the month. And again, there's just some more stuff to show you all the possibilities, like this set too. I go camping, so I might have to get that set. Camping season is upon us. Texture, that's another kind of technique kind of page showing you different ways of adding texture, embossing, different kinds of embossing. blending. And here we come to another great tool in this catalog, color theory. And it will show you how to put together monochromatic cards, which just really means one color. But for instance, Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock are considered monochromatic because they're kind of the same tone, just different strengths, if that makes sense. Complementary, they're colors that are opposite on the color wheel. And they give you examples here. See how berry and that looks like green apple green, they're across from each other. They're complementary colors. Analogous are ones that are side by side. So you can choose 3 colors in the wheel that are side by side and build them. And they give you some examples. And then there's triadic. So you've got this kind of, it's kind of like the nuclear warning triad there. And then you've got all the different colors that you normally have. And last but not least, a great feature of this catalog is the index. It is an expanded index. It doesn't just have stamp sets. If you're looking for tools, you go to the tools and storage section and find what you're looking for, and it tells you the page. Stamp sets are here, ribbon, dies. An expanded index is fantastic. And then you'll notice that there are some generic other things. So this is a generic join page. If you're interested in getting a great deal at a future discount, right now we have a great starter kit deal going on to take advantage of. I'm not sure if I have the print out. I did have one, but I don't think I have one with me at the moment. But basically, you can get all 5 of the in-color ink pads, a package of assorted in-color cardstock, a package of in-color designer series paper, 6x6, and a 5-pack of Stampin' Right markers in the in-colors at no additional cost in your starter kit. So you'll get all those things, which are $82 worth, plus $125 of product that you choose. So why don't they have those numbers on here? Because the specials may change and the sign-up deal may change throughout the year. So this just links you to whatever is current. And then host rewards. Scan to find out what the rewards are. They will be changing. They have not changed in the 21 years that I've been a demonstrator, or not significantly anyway. They're changing big time, probably at the end of this year. So that's why it's fairly generic here. And then it just talks about the angel policy, which if you're going to sell your cards, you need to have this copyright Stampin' Up on them somewhere. And again, a link to the catalog, or to the online catalog. But that is an overview of this new and beautiful catalog. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope I will see you on Friday for my Friday Night Live at 7:30. Now, remember, this Friday, it won't be live. It'll be a not so live again, because I do have, at least as of right now, I do have another meeting that I must attend. However, it will still be a fun class. I'll do a fun project. I've got one in mind I think you're gonna like. So tune back in on Friday. And then don't forget, the 4th Tuesday of the month, I will have another Tune In Tuesday class, and we'll see what that one's got in store for you.